Continuing the prologue, this section is called Financially Independent Thinking. One of the keys to creating your new roadmap is what we call FI thinking, financially independent thinking. This is the process of examining those assumptions that you have unconsciously adopted, of evaluating your own roadmap. FI thinking is noticing that you no longer need to cut off both ends of the ham, that tunnel number 4 no longer has cheese, and that more is better is no longer the name of the road to happiness. FI thinking is waking up from the American dream. FI thinking is about cartography, making your own map, one that accurately depicts the terrain of your life as it actually is today. This map will allow you to choose your own path through the territory of your earning and spending, and to integrate that path with the rest of your life. FI thinking is essentially for anyone who wants a clear, relaxed relationship with money. Until you can think independently, you cannot be independent. Until you can deliberately and dispassionately question your own inner roadmap for money, you will be stuck in classic financial dead ends, such as spending more than you earn, buying high and selling low, not liking your job, but not having a way out, needing 2 paychecks to make ends meet. Just when you get ends to meet, seeing someone, your boss, the government, move the other end. Being so confused by money that you leave it to the experts, who in turn feed on your ignorance. The results of FI thinking. FI thinking. FI thinking is about applying consciousness to the flow of money in your life. Just reading this book will initiate FI thinking in your life. But there is more. Actually, doing the simple steps outlined here will transform your relationship with money. You will go from FI thinking to FI living. FI thinking will lead naturally to financial intelligence, financial integrity, and financial independence. Financial intelligence is being able to step back from the assumptions and your emotions about money and observe them objectively. Does money really buy happiness? Does everyone really got to make a living? Is money really something to fear, covet, to love, or hate? If I sell the majority of my time for money, will I really be secure? In order to gain financial intelligence, you first need to know how much money you already have earned, what you have to show for it, how much is coming into your life, and how much is going out. But that isn't enough. You also need to know what money really is, and what you are trading for the money in your life. One tangible outcome of financial intelligence is getting out of debt and having at least 6 months of basic living expenses in the bank. If you follow the program presented in this book, it will lead inexorably to financial intelligence. Financial integrity. Well, the dictionary defines integrity as 1. An unimpaired condition. Soundness. 2. Adherence to a code of especially moral or artistic values. Incorruptibility. 3. The value or state of being, complete and undivided completeness. So financial integrity is achieved by learning the true impact of your earning and spending, both on your immediate family and on the planet. It is knowing what is enough money and material goods to keep you at the peak of fulfillment, and what is just excess and clutter. It is having all aspects of your financial life in alignment with your values. If you follow the program presented in this book, it will lead inexorably to financial integrity. Now, financial independence. Financial independence is the byproduct of diligently following all the steps of the program outlined in this book. It is defined as having an income sufficient for your basic needs and comforts from a source other than paid employment. While financial independence may not be one of your current goals, it is eventually in everybody's future. Think about it. Financial independence is the totally natural and inescapable byproduct of life. After a certain point, you will no longer need to earn a living. The only choice in the matter is when and how that point is reached. In some cases, that point is reached when you are still alive. It is then called retirement. In many industries today, there is a trend toward early retirement. The practice often prevents the laying off of a large number of younger workers. One purpose of this book is to teach the tools that allow you to become financially independent much sooner than traditional retirement and without dependence on traditional retirement sources of income such as pension and social security. As you go through this book, you will also discover that financial independence encompasses a lot more than having a secure income. It is also independence from crippling financial beliefs, from crippling debt, and from a crippling inability to manage modern conveniences, from repairing your car to fixing your central heating. Financial independence is anything that frees you from a dependence on money to handle your life. What is an FIR? Right? An FIR, right? ER, right? Is our shorthand for a person who embodies FI thinking, who is gaining financial intelligence, learning financial integrity, and moving naturally towards financial independence. Anyone who applies FI thinking to his or her life through following the steps of this program, we call an FIR. How this book came about. This book is not based on theory, good ideas, or a new philosophy. It is the result of 50 years of combined experience, 30 years for Joe Dominguez, 20 years for Vicky Robin, in living all the principles presented here. This book didn't just happen, it evolved. In 1969, at the age of 31, Joe retired from his career on Wall Street, never again to accept money for any of his work. Throughout his life, Joe was accustomed to thinking in new ways, and FI thinking was a natural extension of that. In his 10 years as a technical analyst and institutional investment advisor, he had been pursuing a secret agenda to learn enough about money to develop a program that would allow him to retire with an income adequate to maintain his chosen lifestyle for the rest of his life, all from a modest salary, without speculation or big killings. The program he ended up with, after much trial and error and repeated testing and modification, had nothing to do with risky investment strategies or new, complex analytical methods. Rather, it was about applying common sense, following basic business practices, re-examining outmoded assumptions, and diligently following 9 simple steps. To his surprise, Joe found that what he had thought of as a purely personal project was of interest to others and worked just as well for them as it had for him, regardless of what kind of job they had. Vicky was one of his earliest students. They met in 1969, several months after she had left a budding career in film and theater in New York, intent on finding out what else life might have to offer. having graduated at the top of a high school class and with honors from Brown University. Vicky was no stranger to success. She just wondered whether success had to mean the kind of stress and egocentricity she had seen in the professional world. Her open mind and substantial savings allowed her to recognize the value of Joe's new roadmap for money and applied it to her own life. She had to adjust to her lifestyle to live within her new means. But the changes only increased her sense of self-reliance and freedom. In the 20 years that followed, many friends and volunteers working with Joe and Vicky on various service projects would elicit from them the details of the program. Applying them and discover all aspects of their financial lives were clearing up, from earning to spending, to paying off debts, to having more time with their families, to meeting the once dreaded tax deadlines, to building up savings, to affording better housing, to overcoming poverty consciousness, job insecurity, fear of lack of something, so on and so on, and without even having early retirement as a goal. During those years, neither Joe nor Vicky had